Alright, welcome back guys. So today we're going to do some more greasing to our 100 series Land Cruiser. So let's go ahead and show you what we're going to work on. Well, I'll just tell you, we're going to do is grease our rear control arms by Tailor. So the OEM control arm, or rear lower control arms and upper control arms, I don't think the upper ones have Zerk fitting. I'm going to have to check, but the lower OEM control arms for the rear don't have a Zerk fitting to grease. They're just bushings. I mean, you grease them when you install them, but the Tailor one does have greasable Zerk fittings for it, for the rear bushings, and the front, I forgot the name of the joint, and I'll show you. It does have a way you could grease it, but I haven't greased the front ones. The front of the control arm, lower control arm, since I put them on, just because the way I put the Zerk fitting, I put it upwards so it wouldn't damage, or a rock would hit it if I was facing it down, which you'll see I've hit that rear mount in the past up against a rock. So if I would have had that Zerk fitting on the below, it would have broke right through it. So let's go. What I'm gonna have to do is lower the control arm in the front on the front side, drop it, grease it, and then put it right back up. But let's go ahead and start greasing the rear of the trailing arm. So let me go ahead and show you. Alright, as you can see, the Zerk fitting's right here. It's a little dirty. We're going to use our grip clean cleaner, or grip clean wipes, to wipe the Zerk fitting and clean it up, so that we don't put this dirt inside our bushing and inside our grease. And obviously while you're here, you might as well keep your control arm clean. Pretty clean. You guys can see it. It's right here. Just like that. And then obviously we're gonna grease the other side as well on the back side as well. So now we're gonna grab grease gun and put our connection on our Zerk fitting, just like that. Make sure it's in right, up and down, put it, and then start pumping and see if it starts leaking like that, that means it's not attached right. There we go. And as soon as we start greasing, you'll start seeing it come out the sides. And if it does that, that means there's grease in there. See, it comes out of both sides. Okay, there's plenty in there. The thing with this Zerk fitting, it only gets the top side, and so it's gonna keep leaking on this side. But let's see if we could get it to, because there's a gap right here. Alright, that should be enough. And then we're gonna go ahead and do our front side, and with this one we have to drop the arm. For this Zerk fitting right here, it's inside, so we're going to have to take the 19 and 22, I believe, and take the arm out. Let me see. Like I mentioned, keep your Land Cruiser looking good and clean your parts, and it'll take care of you. I should do the whole frame. Anyways, see how I bent that? It would have smacked it, but let's go grab some tools and clean this off and drop this down. I do have the e-brake on. I have a chock in the front tire, on the front side and the back side, so my rear end doesn't shift. Obviously, if it does shift, we could make adjustments. 19, yep, and the back one is a 24. do is see if we can break it first. Break it loose with the 24. There's the third tool. Move in. Didn't move. I put a washer and nut to the side. We're gonna need a hammer to drop it. This Heim is bent a little bit. I guess I should have. This one's a little bent like I mentioned. So hopefully we could get it come out straight without having to loosen this up. Right there, here's the zerk fitting, and hopefully it's probably dirty. I'm gonna wipe it down. Again, I probably had these on here for like at least 3-4 years, and I have never greased them up. So, hoping it goes straight back the same way it came out. So, put this down. And now that we got it off, we clean this off. We're gonna grease this. Make sure it's on there right. That's not on. There we go. Oh, no. There we go. I've never greased these, so I don't know when do you stop or when does it actually indicate that it's full. But I think by the pressure of my pumps, I think it stopped. So that means, I'm assuming that means it's full, and then I don't have to keep going because it builds pressure. I think we might be good there. Now we just gotta take this off, grab and clean this up, put a little bit of grease on the sides, put some grease on the inside of the mount. Alright, so now put some grease on this too, and then I'll put some Loctite on this as well. Some grease on the shaft part. So it just makes it easier to slide, but not on the threads. So hopefully it lines right back up the way we brought it out. Well, it might have moved a little bit because it looks like it's facing to the back. And I'm hoping that we could adjust. Hopefully, if the rear end did move, we're going to have to see if we can bring it over some, just because we're not in a complete flat surface, but we are. All right. All we could do is almost. I just don't want to bust or mess the threads. Right there. Perfect. All the way in. Just rock the Land Cruiser back and forth and you're good. Now we're going to put some Loctite on the back side on the threads for the nut. Just some blue, doesn't have to be red. Put our washer and our nut back on. .111 foot-pounds. Put our 24 on it like this and torque it down. Alright, should be good. Always check down the line. I'm going to mark it. I'm going to mark it with my parts white marker and just keep a track on it. If it does happen to move, we know, and we could tighten it. Okay. It's always, just in case it moves, we good. And we'll do a little bit on this side, just so that if it does shift, we keep an eye. We'll go on this side. But that's done now. Upper control arm Zerk fittings, they're right here. Obviously, like I mentioned, just wipe it down, clean it. By doing all this, and make sure obviously your suspension lasts longer, maintain and you know, prevent it from squeaking. So just clean it like that, and then there's another one on the top side on the other side like this. Okay, once we get that one, now we need to get our grease gun fitting in here like that, making sure that it is on correctly. All right, that's not on. Okay, it's on. We're squeezing. I could hear it expanding, and this is obviously like it's not a rubber bushing, so it's one of those like the one in the lower control arm, so you could feel the pressure, and that's all I could press it. So I think we're packed. It doesn't take much either, because so now go ahead and clean, and we're done with this one. We just clean it off, just leave some of it just to protect it, waterproof and everything, to be able to access it without having dirt in it. are on it. Okay, put our gun in. Make sure it's on correctly. Yeah, you can see it escape here from the top part. And that's good right there. Doesn't need much, like I mentioned. And that's it. So that's how you do the driver's side, upper and lower trail tiller control arm greasing. Okay, so that's how you grease your trail tiller, lower and upper rear control arms for your 100 series Land Cruiser or LX470. Hopefully this video was helpful. I'm going to do the other side. It just showed you on the right side. Same concept, same thing. Obviously, take precaution. Make sure to block your car. Make sure you know your safety first before anything else. I'll go ahead and put my grease gun, the Loctite, the cleaner, and my torque wrench if you're interested in picking that stuff up on the stuff that I used here, and the marker. You want to keep that track of your suspension too when you're off-roading. If it does shift, you just want to make sure that you're on top of it before it falls off or the bolt comes undone. But with Loctite, it should be able to help. So make sure to subscribe and hit a thumbs up, and if you have any questions, comment below.